Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and honor glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rekahakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening, doing this word with all faith and sincerity, scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be sitting around the topic of being blameless, right? To the world walking, perfectly, ultimately, right? Because we understand that we're not going to be literally perfect on this side, right? But what we can do is at least try to minimize our imperfections to the maximum, right? Or the best we can, right? And that's, a large part of that is, how people perceive you in the world. You're not supposed to have a bad report, not just within the brotherhood, but within the world. When people speak on you or think on you, they should have positive things to say, just based off your behavior, right? Just based off of the things in which you are known for, the character in which you are known to possess. These things are essential, okay, in your walk. As we see these, we look at the guys who've been getting exposed and shit, right? They were lacking character, okay? Yeah, outwardly, when the camera's on, they were these prestigious men, but when the camera turns off is when everything is truly, that's when it gets real, okay? When you at work, the way you deal with your woman, the way you deal with family members, right? Strangers, these things matter, okay? And we're going to be judged based off of that. And Esau's already going to come with persecution. Our job isn't to make it easy for him, right? Let's make this nigga work to try to make us and frame us for things, right? So, I'm going to start off with this in Psalms 37 and 37. Mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace, right? So that's ultimately how we are supposed to be coming in the spirit of peace, okay? Because we're in the spirit of Yahushua, and that's what Yahushua was all about, okay? Now, is he going to come back peacefully? Of course not. We know that, okay? But when he was on the earth, okay, he wasn't about starting confrontations and being confrontational unless it was for doctrinal purposes, right? For the sake of, the doctrine. But outside of that, he wasn't out here, being a demon, being proud, okay, being a lion. He was very meek and humble. Now we read this in the NIV: consider the blameless, observe the upright. A future awaits those who seek peace. Right, see? So you're supposed to be in this state of peace, man. So looking for ways to de-escalate. Scriptures say a soft answer turneth away wrath. Looking for a way out of confrontation without having to get physical, right? We're not afraid of getting physical. I mean, most brothers train or into some type of martial art, have some type of athletic background. Okay, so the purpose isn't because we fear the fight. The purpose is just because this ain't the time to be doing that, man. You shouldn't be out here with a carnal mind, because that's carnally minded, right? That's what we're not, we're not pushing that, That's what these other groups are there for, doing marches and, training with cameras on them and all type of shit. For the public to see, inviting niggas to they, gatherings. That's not what we about. Okay, because ultimately none of that shit is gonna, is gonna be much of anything, productively, right? It's not gonna, produce anything fruitful, right? But being spiritual, that's where you get the most progress. That's where you get the most benefit, right? Not looking at things with a carnal mind. Okay, this is Romans 12:17. Recompense no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. So you're supposed to, take the high road. Okay. What do Yahweh Shai say? Turn the other cheek. Now, does that mean if a nigga sock you in the face, turn the other cheek? Of course not. But, when it comes to certain things, you just got to let it go. Right? Ain't no sense in going tit for tat. And there ain't no sense in holding a grudge. Something happened to you. Now you waiting on the moment to where you can get back. Man. Be as water. Right? Flow. If, in your ups, enjoy the ups and your downs. Learn from your downs, no matter who caused them. Because those same people, you might turn around and help them in the future, man. You never know. And that's the ultimate burn, when somebody is, being a nigga towards you, being a demon, and then the time comes to where they ask you, or they may need you to come through for something, or wherever the case may be, and you, knowing that, in times past they may have done you a certain way or treated you a certain way, but you being forgiven and merciful, right? And you being righteous, you do it for them anyway. Okay? Now, that don't mean, be a sucker, but, apply it, to how you need to, right? Because those things are gonna happen, and that's also something. That's a way to make yourself blameless. Oh, he ain't helped me because that time I did this and he just held it against me this whole time. People are gonna try to use shit like that against you, right? And our, should be in the mindset of not giving people the space or the room to do that. That way, if they try to cast dirt on your name or whatever, they be sitting there looking stupid, right? This is Philippians 2:15, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. Right, we're supposed to stand out from amongst our people. We're not supposed to, we're not supposed to be likened unto them, right? We're supposed to be better than them, because that's something that Jake, was known for doing, holding grudges, being petty, gossiping, don't give these people no room to talk shit about you, because they already want to. They waiting on you to fuck up. And guess what? We're gonna fuck up. Okay? But it's how you respond after. Okay? People are gonna fuck you over. People are gonna do, try to do wrong about you. But it's how you respond to it. Okay? And we supposed to, the scriptures say, be blameless, harmless, right? Perfect. to where they can't say nothing, right? That's how that's how we should be striving, to be. This is 2 Corinthians 6:3, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed in anything. Oh, this dude, he shorted me out my money, or he stole something from me, or he lied on me, or he accused. Like, nah, man. Nigga cut you off in traffic. Now you ready to hop out the car? Nah, man. Keep your cool, keep your peace, right? And if you gotta tell, somebody off, then hey, you may have to tell them off. But then at the same time, you gotta have limits, and you gotta, know when you're going too far and know how to de-escalate. All right? Because simple things like that could stop you, from being in a situation you didn't ask to be in, or you weren't thinking you was gonna be in. Right? So you just got to be mindful of that. And these people are sensitive, raised by their mama, especially Jake, come from a weak generation of men, so they're very reactive and impressionable, and, all this other shit, right? This is, 1 Peter 3:16, having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, that ye may be that, or so like it, they speak evil of you as evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation and Hamashiach Yahweh, right? Because you're supposed to have a good conscience, man, because that good conscience comes from, well, I did everything, that I could to prevent this from happening, and he said, so he forced it. And then when people examine the situation, they may see what happened, and they're going to take your side. Okay, just like in the days to come, right? When the persecution comes, we're not going to be giving them reasons. They got AI, they got old videos, and all. They got their MO. We're not giving them any more. So they come up on some bullshit. We're not going to engage in that, because we're above that. And when you do move like that, and if something bad does happen to you, you have a good conscience in that time. Like, well, Lord, I moved how I was supposed to move. I did the things in which I was supposed to do. Right? And that is, that helps your faith and confidence in that situation, because you know that the Lord is with you, because you did the things in which you were supposed to do. All right, so with that, to give all praise and the glory to Yahweh, Bashim El Shah, Bashim Rakakudash, Wa, Bob, and DTA, DTN.